Hello, everyone. Today we are going to be talking about renewable versus non-renewable energy and how we use renewables versus non-renewables to produce our electricity here in Alaska. So we first need to identify what the difference is between renewables and non-renewables and which ones of our energy sources here in Alaska are renewable versus non-renewable. So what does renewable mean? Well, renewable means that we can get it again and again very easily. Whereas non-renewable means that we can't. It would take too long or it'd be too hard to remake it or re-get it. So once we've used all of a non-renewable energy source up, it's gone. Okay, so we've been talking about energy sources, right? So we talked about sun and wind and water and geothermal and oil and natural gas and coal and biomass. We've talked about all these different ways from nature that we can get energy and make things like electricity and fuel and heat for our homes. So what we want to look at today is which one of those can we get over and over and over and are renewable, and which ones are non-renewable, and once we use them all up, they're gone. And how do those interact in our communities? So which ones of those do you think we can't get more of once we use them all up? Well, we really need to think back to how they came to be. Okay, so if we think about oil and natural gas, before they were oil or natural gas, they were actually small sea plants and animals swimming around in the ocean like plankton, having a good time. And unfortunately, they died and they sunk to the bottom of the ocean, and then they got buried by sand. And over millions of years in heat and pressure, they got smushed down and turned into oil and natural gas deep under the ground. Okay, so that process takes millions of years. So once we use up all the oil we have, that's it. We can't make more. Okay, so oil and natural gas are non-renewable energy sources. Okay, same thing goes for coal. Coal, before it was the rock that we think of as coal, was actually a swamp. It was moss and lichen hanging out. And unfortunately, it died. It got buried. And over millions of years, heat and pressure smushed all those plants down together and turned them into the rock coal. Okay, so once we mine all the coal out of the ground, then that's it. We can't make more coal. Okay, but if we think about the sun, hopefully, right, always shining, not always here in Alaska, but out there in space, it's always shining. Okay, so we can easily get more sun and make more energy from the sun. So solar electricity is renewable. Okay, same with water and wind, right? The water's always running. We can always put a generator in it and make electricity. The wind, right, as the sun heats up the earth and that hot air rises and cold air fills in behind it, right? We can always get more wind energy. So wind and water are both renewable. Biomass, right? We can grow more trees, we can get more fish, right? So those are easily renewed. So biomass is a renewable energy source. Geothermal, right? The earth's always going to be hot. We can always get that heat from the earth. So geothermal is a renewable energy source. Okay, so our non-renewable energy sources here in Alaska are oil, natural gas, and coal. So those are our three non-renewable, right? And then our renewable energy sources are our sun, our water, wind, biomass, geothermal, right? Those are all renewable. We can get them again. So what we're going to do today is we're going to play a game. We're going to look at renewables and non-renewables. So you need two different items. Okay, so you need about 100 of one item and then about 10 or 11 of another item that's different, but about the same size and feel. Okay, so I'm using dried beans. So I have black beans here. These are going to be my non-renewable energy source. Okay, and then I have a white bean, a black-eyed pea, I believe that is. Okay, they're about the same size, about the same feel, but they're different. Okay, so about 100 of the one, right, my black non-renewable energy, and then about 11 of the renewable. Okay, and the reason for this is because in the US we use about 11% of our electricity is produced from renewable energy, and the rest of it is produced by non-renewable energy. Okay, so we're going to look at how this plays out. So what you're going to need is this worksheet here. Let me share my screen with you. make it big so you can see it. Okay, so these are our communities here, okay? And these year by year, each one of these numbers is how much energy your community needs for that year, okay? So in year 1, we need 10 energy units, and each bean is an energy unit. So in year 1, I need 10 of my non-renewable, this is non-renewable energy units. And then because every year our population is growing and we're creating new electronic devices and everything, our electric use goes up, right? So each year we need more. Okay, so I want you to predict how many years it's going to take using 10 and then 12 beans and then 14 beans and 18 beans. How many years can we last on this non-renewable energy source, right? Once it's out, it's gone and we can't use any more. So I'm going to say 5 years, okay? So what I would do is I would count out 10 beans, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, okay, and say, yep, I got that one. And then I would count out 12 beans, right? Count through all of my little beans here, count them all out up to 12. Yep, got that one, right? Then 14, count all the way up to 14, right? Until I got through all of my beans, okay? So say I only had 7 beans left, okay? And I counted out here and I only had 7. Well, I need 18, so I didn't make that year, right? So I would say I only made it to year 3, right? And I did not make it to year 5 like I thought. Okay, so that's with non-renewable, right? So they're all out. But what happens if we add renewables in? Okay, so you're going to add your other colored beans in here, mix them up. Okay, now in a lot of places in Alaska, we have a mix of some non-renewable and some renewable energy. But when you turn on the light switch, do you know where that electricity is coming from? Do you know if it was produced by a wind turbine versus from natural gas? No, we don't know, right? So because we don't know, we have to blindfold ourselves, just like we blindly turn on the light and not know where that energy source came from. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna just skip this one here, so don't worry about that one. And we're gonna jump right down here to data chart 4, okay? So now with our renewables, but blindfolded, if you don't have a blindfold, you can just close your eyes, okay? You're gonna say how many years with that same number, so 10 in the first year, 12 in the next year, then 14, 18, right? We're gonna say, how long do we think this will last? Is it gonna last longer or less time? So before it only lasted 3 years, so now I'm gonna say, yeah, we're definitely gonna make it 5 years, okay? I think we're gonna make it longer than we did up here. Okay, so I'm gonna close my eyes and I'm gonna pull out my beans. I'm gonna count out 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open my eyes and I'm gonna look. And because my renewable energy source we can get again and again, I'm gonna pull out the white ones and I'm gonna put them back in my tub, okay? Mix it up because I get to use those again. Now the non-renewable ones, they have to stay out of the way, right? They got used up, we can't reuse them, okay? So I got that year. Now I need 12, so I'm gonna close my eyes, count out my 12, 11, 12, okay? Then I'm gonna look, I got 3 renewables, so I'm gonna pick those 3 out, put them back, mix it up, say, yep, I got that year. Okay, now I need 14, count out my 14, right? See if I got, 3 renewables again, pull those 3 out, put them back, right? And you're gonna keep going, and let's say, yep, we made it all the way there. But now I only had 12 left. So I didn't make that, but I did make year 5, okay? So I made it 2 years further, adding the renewables in, okay? But this last one, what I want you to do here is I want you to keep your eyes open and choose how you want to use your energy. So you still need 10 and you still need 12, okay? But now you get to choose. So you can see which ones you're picking. You still need to pick out 10 and you can still put any renewables that you have back in, okay? And mark it off, right? We had to predict. I said, I'm gonna predict 7 years. I think I can make it further with my eyes open, okay? So then you're going to say 12, pick out your 12, put your renewables back in, and decide how you want to use your energy, okay? And see how far you can make it. All right? Have fun with this one, guys, and we will see you soon.